Hi, in this video I will discuss the 7 principles that build up a quality management system. Later in this presentation is a demonstration on how you can perform gap analysis of these principles. In the previous version of ISO 9001 standard, there were 8 principles. Now it has 7, namely customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement, evidence-based decision making, and relationship management. The first principle is customer focus. Essentially, the primary focus of quality management is to meet customer requirements and to strive to exceed their expectations. One of the barometers to sustain success is when your organization gains and maintains the confidence of your customers. These principles makes the organization understand current and future needs of customers. Having this fully embedded in the quality management system leads to the following benefits. Number one, increased customer value or customer perception on your delivered products or services as against your competitors. Two, increased customer satisfaction. Three, improved customer loyalty or retention. Number four, enhanced repeat business. Number five, enhanced reputation of the organization, especially if you are in a government organization. Number six, expanded customer base. And number seven, increased revenue and market share. So what are the actions that you can consider to demonstrate this principle? Number one is to recognize internal and external customers. Internal customers are people in the organization, essentially the immediate recipient of your outputs, whereas external customers are the ultimate recipient of your products and services. Number two is to understand current and future needs and expectations, and you can use SWOT analysis for this particular activity. Number three is to align objectives to customer needs and expectations. Four is communicate these needs and expectations throughout the organization. Number five, measure and monitor customer satisfaction. As a matter of fact, you can consider using ISO 10000 series for this particular activity. Number six is to manage your relationship with customers. Next principle is leadership. So leaders establish unity of purpose and direction of the organization. They create conditions in which people are engaged in achieving the organization's quality objectives. They are supposed to be at the driver's seat, navigating the entire organization. As a matter of fact, taking full responsibility and accountability is supposed to be his mother tongue, quote unquote. So what are the benefits that we can gain out of this principle? Number one is increased effectiveness and efficiency in meeting quality objectives. Two is better coordination of business processes. Essentially, it is the harmony or alignment of process inputs and outputs of functional groups of the organization. Number three is improved communication between members of the organization. A healthy organization is a kind of place where people don't fear about sharing ideas and opinions about quality matters. And last, improved capability of people to deliver desired results. So what are the actions that you can consider? Number one is to articulate company vision, mission, values, strategies, among others. This can be done during general assemblies or other venues where management and employees meet. Number two is to provide required resources, training, and authority. Essentially, roles and responsibilities that can be documented. Number three is establish culture of trust and integrity. Politics is somewhat inevitable, but it can be managed if the leaders wills it. Number four is encourage commitment to quality. That is why quality policy is made to remain a constant reminder for all to follow. And lastly, demonstrate positive examples to me, also known as walking the talk. Next is engagement of people. Competent, empowered, and engaged people at all levels throughout the organization are essential to enhance its capability to create and deliver value. It is imperative to establish that human is number one resource of the organization. So having the organization founded in this principle provides the following benefits. Number one is improved understanding of quality objectives by the people and increased motivation to achieve them. Two is involvement of people in improvement activities. Three, enhanced people satisfaction. Four, enhanced trust and collaboration throughout the organization. And five, increased attention to shared values and culture. So what are the actions that you can consider to achieve those benefits? Number one is to communicate with people on the importance of their contribution. As a matter of fact, this is an explicit requirement of ISO 9001 standard. Number two, promote collaboration throughout the organization. Three is to facilitate open discussion and sharing of knowledge and experience. Four is to empower people to take initiatives, as a matter of fact, coordinated initiatives without fear. Number five is to recognize people's contributions. Six is to conduct surveys to assess people satisfaction. In the previous version of ISO 9001, there was this principle system approach. In the 2015 version, this principle was integrated to process approach. This basically pertains to activities that lead to understanding the processes and managing them as one coherent system, thereby establishing a consistent and predictable results. Process approach is best illustrated using process elements, namely inputs, controls, the process or its method, and outputs. Essentially, the following questions need to be answered in developing quality management system in a process approach. Number one, who supplies inputs to the process? Number two, what specifications are placed on the inputs? Three, what are the process controls? Four, who are the true customers of the processes, both internal and external? And what are the requirements of the customers? So what are the potential benefits if process approach principle is put in place? Number one, there can be consistent and predictable outcomes through a system of aligned processes. Two, optimize process performance through effective process management. And number three, can provide confidence to interested parties that business processes can deliver the expected results. So what are the actions that you can consider? Number one is to define system and process objectives as basis for the process controls to be put in place. Essentially, this is the quality planning. Number two is to define who is going to do what. That can be through documented procedures or work instructions. Number three, understand process capacities and capabilities, using or employing some statistical techniques. Number four, ensure availability of information to operate processes. And number five, manage risks relevant to the process. So basically, this is the risk management of your operations. Next principle is improvement. Successful organizations have an ongoing focus on this principle. Improvement is essential to business sustenance. This principle teaches the organization to react to changes in its internal and external issues and take advantage of opportunities. So having this principle institutionalized in the organization provides the following benefits. Number one is improved process performance. Two is enhanced focus on preventing problems from recurring and occurring. Number three is enhanced ability to anticipate risks. And four, drives learning and innovation. So what are the actions to be considered by the management? Number one is encourage improvement as a way of life. Two, educate and train people on the necessary improvement tools. Three is to audit improvement projects. Four, recognize and acknowledge improvement initiatives. Evidence-based decision making. This principle is based on the premise you cannot improve what you cannot measure. In this principle, decisions are based on the analysis and evaluation of data and information that will eventually lead to objectivity and confidence in decision making. Benefits are as follows. improved decision-making process, improved assessment of process performance and ability to achieve objectives, improved operational effectiveness and efficiency, increased ability to demonstrate the effectiveness of past decisions, and increased ability to challenge opinions and decisions. For the actions, number one, the organization must determine, measure, and monitor key indicators. Number two, the organization must be transparent with data to relevant people. Three, ensure data are accurate, reliable, and secure. Four, employ suitable methods of analyzing data. And number five, ensure competency of people doing the analysis and evaluation. Relationship management is an expanded concept of the previous person's mutually beneficial supplier relationship. Essentially, interested parties are with their own unique needs and expectations, and more often than not, these needs and expectations drive to change organizational vision, mission, strategies, or decisions. Relevant interested parties include government regulators, employees, competitors, suppliers, customers, stockholders, partners, among others. Understanding how to manage relationships with interested parties provides the following benefits. Number one, enhance performance through responding to the opportunities and constraints related to each interested party. Two, common understanding of objectives and values among interested parties. Three, increased capability to create value for interested parties. And four, a well-managed supply chain that provides a stable flow of products and services. So what are the actions to be considered? Number one, the organization must determine relevant interested parties and understand their needs and expectations. It must be noted that this is an explicit requirement of ISO 9001, particularly clause number 4. 2. Prioritize interested party relationships that need to be managed. 3. Gather and share information, expertise, and resources with interested parties. 4. Continue gather feedback from interested parties through regular stakeholder consultations. And 5. Encourage and recognize improvement by interested parties. So how do we go about with gap analysis? First is to create a table of the quality principles across the scoring system and criteria. The criteria that you can use are the actions previously presented for each principle. Then evaluate and rate each principle based on whether you have or you don't have the listed actions. Rate the principle from 0 being the lowest to 5 as the highest. And using a web chart in Excel, you can visualize the strengths and weaknesses of the organization. From there, you can start brainstorming with necessary improvements. So there you have it, the 7 quality management principles. Thank you for viewing.